the XP6 Peugeot XP6, completely custom out. By that I mean just bodywork, there's no like internals, it's still 50cc, learner legal bike in the UK. Just run you through basically a review of the standard bike. I've got some rainfall bars in here. This is one thing I did change, because the other bars are shit. It's up too high for me and I bent them off-roading. I had to change the clock because that stopped working. The speedo cable broke as well. So this is off a TS50, Yamaha TS50. Works fine in here. The mile an hour gauge is below by 10 mile an hour, just by a little bit. But that's fine. Apart from that, everything's good. Seat ripped very, very easily actually, just from general use. It's ripped, which is bad, but you can get it reupholstered, or it's basically just stapled on underneath, because I've had the seat off. So you can just take it off, get it re-sewn or re-leathered, whatever you want it to do. But you have everything standard bike wants. You have steering lock, stops you from, well, someone nicking it. But the only problem with this is the bike's light enough you can just pick it up and walk off with it, which is the only downside to this. Apart from that, you've got there's no battery in the bike, so it's all kickstart. So it's fully off-road. The XPS is the more road version. It has electrics, all that stuff. But everything on this bike is exactly the same as the XPS, apart from there is no battery, there is no electric start. There is, look, obviously cutouts for electric start and I guess kill switch. And under the seat about here, there is a section to put a battery. So if you was going to do an engine swap, say an Aprilia engine, you can do that. I've had the baffles taken out of the exhaust. That's hot. So it sounds better. I've also taken out the packing that's in this end exhaust. This is still the stock end exhaust. I've just wrapped it with some carbon fibre plastic wrap, and it seems to last. Makes the bike look better. Standard gearing, or I think it's standard at least from when I got the bike. Standard suspension, non-adjustable suspension, still got the airbox on there, which has the screws are sort of seized in there. That one I managed to get out. This one and the other four, or the other two, I didn't manage to get out. But yeah, and excuse the dirt, I've just been off-roading. I need to tighten up that chain as well. But let me just start it for you. Brakes, the standard brake cylinder, and I've had some problems with this. Over the years, this glass has sort of worn out, so it started leaking. And as you can see there, I've got some sort of sealant in there, which seems to work. I need some new brake pads soon, but everything's still the same grips. Clutch is brilliant. Clutch has got a very far out biting point. The biting point is about here, as opposed to like being right back here. So you've got all this travel which doesn't really do much. I can change gear just by pulling in slightly, which is good because I can run along and just like click, click, gear change. But I normally clutchless shift anyway. People say it's bad for your gearbox. I don't know, I haven't had any problems with it yet. Still shifts perfectly. That's about it. But starts first kick most mornings. Obviously you've got your neutral light, your high, I think it's low beams or high beams, indicators, your heat sensor, your oil gauge to tell you if you're low on two-stroke, which by the way goes in this little cap here, which just pulls off. Your coolant for your engine goes right in there, in this little gauge here. You've got indicators, obviously, road legal. If you're wondering, yes, I can clutch up in first gear, and it does it quite nicely. You just have to get it to balance point, otherwise it just sort of drops. Back end, I've had problems with this tail because if you can see, I've plastic wadded this before painting it and everything. I filled it with some filler it looked brilliant. But even after that, and this is the original tail, I've gone through 2 of these, is that it will snap. The bolts don't hold. This here, the frame ends here. So all this is being held by the weight of this. So it just bends, which is annoying. But I'm going to weld extra tubes on both sides that come out to this bolt. It should hold it up in its place, which is up quite high. Apart from that, rear brake, it's all the same, all separate cylinder sits up here. The only problem with this, you can't actually see what the height your brake fluid is on. Not a great deal of issue, but it would be nice to be able to see. Engine's been all painted black, cleaned, everything, carbs, standard jets. Had a couple of problems with idling. It doesn't idle very well. The exhaust, I'm missing a bolt that came loose and has gone, so it just moves quite a bit. But I think this is me losing some back pressure because the rubber rings that are sitting in there have seemed to have disappeared. It's the only downside to that. I've used black stone chip guard under both ends. This seems to help just stop damage, basically. Standard front wheel. I had some problems with the front wheel as well. It seems to shake when I hit a certain speed, but I think that is just the bar that goes through here, all the bearings. But I'm probably going to be Supermotoing this bike at some point anyway. Brakes, fine, good brakes. Forks, brilliant forks for a 50cc. Absorb everything. It's very nice riding this. Front headlight, I've got actually some masking over this, or I don't know what it's called. It's a film which basically changes the colour. As you can see, it's the blue tin, and then as you walk around it continues like that. It does that when it's lit up and it looks really good. Just some stickers, metallic blue, well, most of it at least. Yeah, that's about it really. I keep the crossbar on because I nearly bent these ramful bars. Don't really want to do that. Apart from that, that's the XP6